Welcome to the Ultra Street Fighter 4 World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Showcase Series. My name is Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. This is to talk about all the different players that are going to be showing up at the Capcom Cup 2014 at the Warfield in San Francisco on December 13th. This is just going to be an event where 16 of the best Ultra Street Fighter 4 players are gathered here for one epic tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. You can be there, of course. If you can't make it, if you can't buy tickets, if you can't get there, you can see it online. It'll be at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to that channel so that on December 13th, you'll know the second it starts because you don't want to miss this one.
That's for sure. So 16 players in total, and there are two different ways to qualify. One way is by winning big major tournaments. You can win an automatic qualifier, and you're automatically there. The other way is to qualify by points. At all of the big tournaments that have been happening throughout the year, points have been given out to the people who show up at the top. And the six highest tallying players are invited to Capcom Cup.
Right. And in this particular case, the person who had earned the highest points is one Bonchan.
That's right.
Who we are going to talk about today.
Right. So Bonchan, from Japan, very well known for using Sagat, has an interesting backstory.
Yeah. He hasn't been playing Street Fighter for particularly long.
You know, especially compared to some of the people we'll talk about who've been playing it for 15, 20 years.
Right.
He's not in that club.
Yeah. But, I mean, legend has it.
Right.
Like, you know, this is the story that's been told. Apparently, he either works at or runs a mahjong parlor of some sort. And at one point in time, Daigo had stopped playing fighting games. And he got really heavily involved in mahjong.
Right.
And he frequented this parlor a lot. And he became really good friends with Bonchan there. And then when Street Fighter started picking back up, he's like, you know what? I think you'd be really good at this game. And kind of brought Bonchan with him and started teaching him how to play Street Fighter. And here he is now.
Well, he was right. Daigo was right, because this is exactly the player to pick out, especially this year so far. His 2014 has been incredible. Since Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out, which was just earlier this year, he has played in 6 major tournaments. The first one of those, he got 5th place. Okay, pretty good. It was a very strong tournament. Pretty good. Since then, he has gotten into grand finals every time. For first or second place in each of them, including at EVO.
Yeah, and of course, EVO, the tournament, you know, with 1,600 players in there, 1,600 plus players in there, getting into grand finals. He finished second place in there. That's where he got the bulk of his points, and obviously he picked up a lot of points at the other events that we mentioned. But you know, getting the top 2 out of 1,600 players, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that he has to be on the short list right now for strongest, most consistent players in the world.
Yeah. I mean, for right now, if you had to put a list of, like, if you wanted just to pick top 3 right now, like, I feel like you can't even argue that he should be on that list.
He should be on that list. Absolutely, he should. Yeah, that's right. So today we're going to look at a match that he played at EVO 2014. Very, very important match, actually. It's the one that got him into second place, at least second place, into the grand finals. He played against Razor Fudo in winners finals.
Fudo, keep in mind, he's an EVO champion as well.
Right.
Super strong player, so smart of a player. And, you know, he's going to be going up against Bonchan here. And to see how Bonchan can overcome this kind of player is just really impressive to watch.
Well, let's talk about his play style a little bit. He, I think, does a great job at making Sagat, who is not really a quick character. If you walk around with Sagat, you'll kind of inch back and forth. But he makes that character look very quick, very adaptable, very fast, and just sort of capable of all sorts of things and ranges that most people don't succeed at.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one of the slowest walk speeds in the game.
Right.
And somehow he makes him actually look fluid.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, because I feel like this is a lot of Daigo influence here, but, you know, Daigo's a player who goes off on a lot of reads. And I feel like he's really kind of taught Bonchan that. Bonchan is another player who's so good at reads. Every time he gets you into those 50-50 situations, he comes out on top.
Right.
Way more often than 50%. You know, in those situations. And I think that's why he looks so fast with Sagat,
Yeah.
because he's basically just going to where you're going before you get there. So he always knows what to do. He's never kind of in that situation where he's confused.
Right.
He has great reactions to things. And so, yeah.
And he has this sense of timing, of knowing when it's time to take those risks, when it's time to stay away. And that by itself really goes a long way.
Yeah. So, again, he's going to be playing against Fudo here. Obviously, this is going up against the Fei Long, right? And,
Sagat v. Fei.
yeah, and both of us agree that Fei Long probably wins this matchup, right? Or at least has a slight advantage in this matchup. And really, Fei Long is so good at shutting down movement so that you're not going to be able to see a lot of what Bonchan, like the little fluid motion that we talked about. But what you will see is how well Bonchan faces Fei Long in those pressure situations, because he's going to spend a lot of time in the corner.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, but he's going to come out on top in a lot of those situations, and so we'll be able to get to see a lot of that. So,
well, let's go into it.
yeah, let's take a look at this. And again, this is Evolution. This is the biggest stage, so these guys know that everybody's watching.
Literally, it was the biggest stage this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. And as we mentioned, this is a tough fight for Sagat. So you're going to see immediately right away Bonchan getting pushed into the corner. And you can see a forward dash right there. He's fighting for every little bit of space that he can get.
Yeah, that's what you have to do when you're playing this matchup. You don't want to be cornered. It's pretty tough to avoid, but you want to avoid it for as long as possible and make sure that you deal as much damage as possible before you get there. So you see, he's gotten half life down before he reached the back. That's a punish.
Yeah, that's a great reaction there. I mean, Fudo just went for that. That wasn't a jab Rekka, and he was right there ready for the punish again.
So that stands short right there.
Oh yeah.
Let's check that out again. That's so impressive to me. So we see the punish, and we see the offense from Fudo right after that. But check out this spacing and reactions. To react to that with stand short Dragon Punch, he's absolutely ready for it. It's not just like it comes out of the blue and he reacts to it. Of course, he knows that there's a good chance it'll come. But when it does come, to have that quick of a reaction, very impressive.
Yeah, stand short into uppercut.
Right.
It's not even that simple of like low forward fireball.
Right.
I mean, it's a little harder, but
And a big commitment if it were blocked.
Yeah. But here again, you see Fudo's getting him stuck in the corner again. But you can see how patient he is. He doesn't hit a lot of buttons, and look at him just kind of bobbing up and down, and just picking his moments on when to throw the tiger shots. And the little up and down bobbing is kind of like a fireball fake in a way.
Right.
You just want to make it look like you're always doing something.
You see, he takes advantage a little bit of the focus there to try to get out of the corner, but he didn't press too hard. He knew it wasn't quite time to do that yet. Oh, his confirms are ridiculous. The execution's so good. So good.
Getting those links every single time. Look at this. Not only is he going to get all this damage, pushes Fei Long all the way into the corner. Look how much space he has now. Backdash. And then you're going to see him jump back dash. He's got all this room to work to bait Fudo into. Look at this. Even after blocking that focus attack, he did nothing.
If you're Sagat, a big part of the threat that you imply has to do with how much space is behind your back. Right. Because you can move backwards to a better range for yourself much more easily.
Yeah. And you're fighting for that space is so important. It's so important, so crucial in this match.
Right. So he takes the first game.
Yep. And so here we go right into the second game. You can see same situation, same story that we see every time. Slowly pushing into the corner, using those tiger knees to try to gain any little bit of ground as you can. And that red line on the training stage is a good indication of how well you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's exactly in the middle of the stage.
Right.
That confirmed. It looks just a simple combo, right? A juggle, but he had to know it was coming and get there with the little executional carry cancel. Yeah. Not easy.
Yeah. And one thing that I know you talked about a little bit is that Sagat, the way he's playing Sagat, like especially when he gets in the corner here, a lot of things that a lot of people like to do when they get in the corner there is the jump, neutral
Very
jump,
common.
Jump backwards or whatever. But he's gotten in the corner. He's like never jumped backwards or neutral jumped at all.
Yeah, you can see, I think, how much control Fei has in about that range. And so one thing that you want to do to get over that is to jump. You see this ground control and you think, well, I have to get in, I have to deal with this some way, I have to get out at something. And so a lot of people jump. But
it's a panic.
It's a panic. Yeah, it's absolutely a panic move. Absolutely. But keep in mind how rarely Sagat jumps forward. Watch for it this whole set.
Yeah, I think the only time I saw him jump forward was once, and that was a safe jump, which is a free jump.
Right, you get a free jump, but as far as just reckless jumps go, no, watch for it.
Yeah, and again, see, as soon as he blocks a Rekka that wasn't the jab Rekka, he had the uppercut reaction right away. Not only can he recognize the difference of it, oh, that was a missed distance there, but not only can he recognize the difference between the Rekkas, but he has the reaction to uppercut it right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. Oh, big punch. Oh, okay.
The one jump, okay?
In the corner.
We have seen 2 games now worth of Sagat being cornered. Yep. Okay? A pretty significant chunk of the time that we have seen so far is Sagat cornered, Faye pressuring him. Only one time have we seen Sagat jump, and it was at that exact moment when it was
the perfect
counter. It was the perfect counter, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not an accident. Like, that's what we mean by he's so good at reads. Fudo knows that Game 2 is important, because if he loses it, he's down 0-2. And if he wins it, he ties it at 1-1. It's a big momentum change there.
Keep in mind, it's first to 3.
Yeah.
So if Bonchan wins the next game, then he makes it into grand finals. Oh, that moment was a big one for Fudo. You're right. He could be tied, but instead he's down 2. He has to win 3 straight games.
And that's what made that read so good, is because he knew Fudo was saving that for that one moment he needed that victory. And so he just read that moment. He read that kind of emotional flow. You know, this is a theme that we talk about a lot, which is going to be this emotion kind of versus science kind of concept. Bonchan is such a strong emotion player. That's where he gets his reads from. And right there, he felt it, that Fudo needed to make that play to get that victory. And that's the only time he jumped in the corner. And it worked, so.
All right, let's get back into this.
All right, here we go. All right, so.
Very, very similar situation. You know, Bonchan is both taking up space for real, but also feigning space. You talked about that little fake with the little crouch. At any time, a tiger shot could come out or a normal could come out.
There you just saw him do a wake-up uppercut, and that was, again, the proper read. He got it.
Well, sometimes you get lucky.
I mean, that's one of those situations where, again, it could be a read that maybe Fudo's a little rattled. You know what I mean? And he's not a player that gets, he hasn't missed that link yet.
No, he's 100%.
And I love the fact that Bonchan dashes forward a lot. Like, he reads that moment where he has the space to dash forward to try to fight for that real estate, you know, for that little bit of screen space.
Yeah, like we said, you can't really get a good sense of how fluid he is with Sagat, but those moments where he dashes up and he dashes back, that's the hint of it. That's what he's doing.
Yep. So here,
it doesn't want to be easy to peg down.
And Fudo, of course, here fighting for his life. He's already down 2-0, so gets one round here. But you know, Bonchan, again, a player who's been playing at a high level for a very long time. I just don't feel like he's the kind of a player who can get rattled easy. No. Even in this situation, look at this great offense from Fudo, and he still blocked all the way up until the perfect moment where he threw that low jab to try to counter the offense.
So it looks like he's on the ropes. Looks like this is going to be basically a wash as far as rounds go. but he reads that exact same feeling. You know, everybody in the room at the time had that feeling. He certainly had that feeling. And so in those kind of situations, that's sometimes when it's right to go in, when it's right to make those big bets. Say this doesn't work out. Say this ultra doesn't work out. He loses the round. He's pretty likely to lose the round regardless. Yeah. So he knows that it's time to go big or go home.
Yeah, and in that situation, he knew Fudo wanted to try to chip him out. And you see right here, Fudo eventually does chip him out.
Yeah.
But as soon as he blocked that tiger, he just knew that he wanted to come at him with a Rekka, and he just raw ultra'd and it worked.
Yeah, even though that round was a loss for Bonchan, I still love what that ultra says about his play.
Yeah, and one thing that should be noted too is that raw ultras in this game is like 95% of the time a bad idea. It almost never works.
Not great.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is really not a very good idea. But right there, Yeah, I mean, how many players do you think would have done that in that situation?
Not a whole lot, that's
Not,
for sure.
yeah, exactly. So, but you know, Fudo's won a game now, so
Yeah,
momentum's on his side.
right.
Let's see how Bonchan reacts to this. So, yep. Again, same story, but you know what? It's just he plays the Steve Scissors. There's another forward dash right there. You know, just finding those moments to try to stave off getting into the corner as long as possible.
And it's fascinating to me because he would rather dash in than jump. Again, we have not seen a towards jump from Bonchan this whole time, even though clearly Faye is controlling that ground. That's Faye's spot right there. But Sagat has not jumped over once.
I would say he's literally jumped 3 times, I think. With the one time on the throw and 2 safe jumps.
Right.
But outside of that, I don't think he's forward jumped at all. And that's mind-boggling to a lot of people
It is. It's
to
tough.
play this game because you just want to jump all day.
It's tough. Especially when you're being controlled like this. His reaction instead is just to play patiently. You know, he knows that he can find these moments. We've already seen a couple where it's time to go in.
There's that whiff punish again on that Rekka. So good.
Well, he thought it was time to go in there, and it was not.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Even as a great of a read player as Bonchan is, you're gonna make a couple of long routes.
That goes with the territory of playing that sort of style.
But it's kind of like one of those poker things. Like you play the odds. You know, you play the odds, and if you win most of the time, then you know you will go ahead and accept a few bad reads occasionally, because in the end you're gonna come out on top.
By the way, can we talk about how we blocked that overhead on reaction like 10 seconds ago? It's pretty crazy.
Let's go back and take a look at this. Is this?
Might have been before this. Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no big deal.
All right.
So Bonchan has done a great job of fighting for damage before he gets cornered. You know, we mentioned this before.
I want to go back and go back here just a little bit again. I want you to see, like, as Fei Long now.
There it is.
Oh, there was the overhead block, right? As he's pushing him into the corner, look how many times Fei Long hits buttons, starting from now, compared to how often Bonchan hits buttons. Like right about here, like all of a sudden button.
Yeah, it totally changes because on the chase to the corner, it was Sagat doing a lot. It was those kind of neutral situations after chicken wing and the like, and Bonchan pressing buttons. And then when he got into the corner, he understood tables had turned a little bit. And
right. And then when does he push a button? He pushes a button on his own wake up because I think he read right here, right after this throw, that he might want to go in for another throw, and he had it on lock.
Yeah.
And he caught Fei Long here. I don't think this is going to kill him.
No, but keep in mind that for Sagat, the great thing is not just the damage that you deal from that, it's the spacing. And, you know, here's Fei already back in. But over the long run, getting that spacing, we've seen, he does a great job, Bonchan does, of getting all the damage he can out of the space behind him.
Ooh.
Yes.
Dude.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, he does too, the little head nod.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's watch the situation. Like, I'm going to pause it for a second here, right after he blocks this, right? Look at the life that up here.
Right.
Bonchan has no life.
Right.
And he just landed that on Fudo, and I don't think Fudo was ready for it quite there. I don't think he knew, like, he wasn't expecting that EX Tiger. So he says, Fudo's in his mind is thinking to himself, I have this lead, I need to take this round because this will tie me up at 2-2. So Bonchan again feels that desperation from Fudo. He got him off guard out of nowhere all of a sudden, and so whether you're going to throw or uppercut or do nothing, he went for the uppercut, and it was a perfect read for that particular moment.
You know, in this moment, they both effectively have no life. It's the next action. It's the next action. Because even though Fei has more life, he's going to die if it's a throw or if it's Dragon Punch or whatever.
Right.
So they're both in this very similar situation. But that's great for Bonchan, okay? Because he's been in the corner. He just got chased all the way in the corner, lost so much life in doing so. And after that kind of situation, to so quickly put himself back into this relatively advantaged situation. Not actually an advantaged situation, you understand, but much better than being chased into the corner. And it's this kind of understanding of when to turn it on like that, when to make it all about this little 50-50. Not great for the most part. Okay, if he had sort of more even life, they both had a bunch of life, maybe he doesn't want to put himself in that situation. but he does a great job of knowing when it's time to be there.
Yeah, that's actually really, really good point, because he took Fudo's life advantage and erased it just by doing that 50-50, forcing him into this round-ending 50-50.
Exactly.
And he got the right read.
Bonchan gets right this time, exactly right.
Here we go. Pow! And there it is. Yep. And there he is, nodding to himself. He knew that was such a key moment.
Yes.
That was such a key moment. He's like, I'm still in this now. It's not 2-2.
No, it could be tied right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Big swing.
That might have been the key moment of this entire set. And again, just stuck in the corner, but Bonchan, so good. That's the first time I think we've seen him jump backwards or neutral jump in the corner.
Yeah.
Just randomly like that. And there he is, getting in with that.
Yeah, so that's a safe jump we were talking about. There's no downside to that for Sagat.
Because even if Fei Long wakes up with a dragon punch, he's going to land and block it in time.
Exactly.
And there was that high tiger shot. That high tiger shot, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. And high tiger shot's not exactly the safest thing to do.
Yeah, the thing about high tiger is that you can't duck it on reaction. Your character model just sort of has to deal with it. But if Fei had done lots of other things, if he had crouched a little bit before then, or if he had jumped then, or if he had done EX chicken wing, or EX Rekka even, there are all sorts of things. But Bonchan knew.
Again, Bonchan with a wake-up uppercut. Perfect situation right there. Oh.
So it's the same. Yeah, so by the way, this is a very tough juggle. It looks like it's no big deal.
Right.
But it's a really tough juggle. Very rare that you see that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Let's go back and watch
this
because
this is super key. Okay, this is amazing.
So one, wake-up uppercut right there. And then Fei Long gets him here. And again,
very similar situation like we just talked about. So he puts himself basically at neutral. After that focus attack dash toward, very even on frames, no character has a clear advantage, and it's the same exact situation as the previous round.
Right.
Where Bonchan takes this situation where he's down in life, he's down in positioning, and he evens it up immediately with one decision.
Right. And watch, before he gets the uppercut right here, I want to point this out right now. Look at the life lead that Fudo has here. He's got a gigantic life lead here compared to here. Bonchan knows that his way of winning this round, if he's going to go for this 50-50, he's going to end it here.
Right.
Right? So he's reading that he has one bar. You can see one little bar of super meter here. So the only way he's going to kill on this is to do EX uppercut into Ultra.
Exactly.
And he goes for it, and he lands this, and it's not even over yet.
One decision left.
One decision left. Boom. And the keyword right there, technical.
Delayed wake up from Fei Long. So if Sagat throws that with a normal fireball timing meant to hit somebody who does not do delayed wake up, then Fudo's Fei would have gotten right through that fireball.
Yep.
So it's a little guess that they had to play at the end right there. Bonchan guessed that Fudo was going to do delayed wake up.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. So there was one last, in each of those, that wake up dragon punch, the focus attack dash forward into the 50-50, and then at the end again with the fireball, all correct by Bonchan.
Three reads in a
row. One of which he forced, again, just like at the end of the previous round. He took this big life lead, this big positional lead, and he evened it up in a way that is not a great idea if you're in a different situation. But if you're in that situation, it is exactly the right call.
Right. Because the thing is, the reason why I pointed out that one bar thing is because he went for the EX uppercut. If he had 2 bars, he would have did uppercut FADC in the Ultra or something like that. But because he knew exactly what his resources are, this is one of those skills that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's so crucial, is constantly judging what your resources are and how to use them to win the round. That's why I wanted to point that out, because it was so crucial that he knew the way that he was going to win. The key way he was going to make that comeback. If he's going to put himself in this 50-50, if he's going to force himself into a read, he's going to win it off of that. And sure enough, he did. And like you said, even on that last read with the delayed wake up. Because even if Fei Long did a chicken wing when he got up,
imminent death. There was nothing that Fei could have done. If he had done a chicken wing, sure, he would have gotten through the fireball, but he would have landed right into Sagat Dragon Punch, and that would have been it.
Stand roundhouse or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, just a perfect example right there. And again, one of the main things that I want to emphasize about this video is that, Fudo, Evo champion,
so
super
good.
strong
He's
player.
so good.
He is so good at shutting down every option that you have, and Bonchan able to defeat him. And you saw how he was in the corner almost the entire game, suffocating in there, yet somehow came out on top. And it's so impressive to see.
One of the things about Fudo is that I feel like he's a better defensive player than he is offensive player. He is amazing at offense, don't get me wrong. But if I had to say which one of the ones he's better at, it's defense. And so Bonchan played against him knowing that. Bonchan, like we said, didn't jump forward randomly at all. He did a couple of neutral jumps. He knows how Fudo plays, and he knows Fudo is so good at that anti-air. And so instead, he made Fudo come to him knowing that that's a little bit, again, very good still, but not as much of a strength for Fudo as his defense. So he even played that correctly. I love everything about how he plays in this video.
Sagat's jump, slow, not very good.
No, it's not very good.
And Fei Long, flame kick, very good. I mean, he just knows it's a losing proposition to jump forward randomly like that. And so, sure enough, he never jumped forward randomly. He had one random neutral jump at one point in the middle of the screen, one random neutral jump in the middle, in the corner. Outside of that, like 2 or 3 forward jumps on safe jumps, and then one jump to beat the command throw.
That's it. And that was a lot of Street Fighter that we just watched. So
exactly.
Pretty impressive. So I think you can see Bonchan has all the things that he needs to be one of the best players in the world right now. That video was him qualifying into grand finals in winner's side, by the way, for Evo. He made it through 1,600 plus people without losing a single game until the very, very end when he lost to Luffy.
Yeah, and again, that's the kind of situation, where I talked about what a Bonchan's strengths is his reads, and he's the emotion kind of player, right? And you can kind of see that's where a little bit of his weakness came from when he did fight against Luffy, because I just don't feel like he knew the Rose match as well, and he couldn't rely on his own, the matchup was worse for him than the Fei Long matchup, I feel like, and that got to him in the end. But, this is a tournament where he knows all of his opponents.
Right, yeah.
He knows all the characters he's going to go up against.
So after losing to Luffy Rose, he started playing Rose.
Oh, did he?
He did. Not serious. He's not a main or anything, but he did start using that character to understand how the character works. He started playing against Rose. That's something that he won't get caught off guard against if it were to come to that in Capcom Cup. And it's going to be the same way for all of the players, all of their potential characters. He's going to do his homework. He, like we said, he trains a lot with Daigo. He comes from sort of that school of understanding how to train for a match that he knows is going to come. So I wouldn't expect him to get caught off guard by anything.
Yeah, and again, if everybody is going to do their homework, the thing that's going to put you on top of the other players are those reads. And we've seen how good Bonchan is at that. So
he's one of the big threats. He really is.
I mean, out of 16 players, there's probably 16 big threats.
Okay,
but Bonchan definitely, I mean, I got to imagine a lot of people are going to expect him to get really far in these tournaments.
Like we said, after his very first Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournament, he has gotten into grand finals every time.
100% of the time.
So, all right. Well, that'll be on December 13th. You can watch it if you'd like at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters, or even better, you could actually make it to the Warfield in San Francisco.
Yep, that's going to be on December 13th again. Subscribe to Capcom Fighters, twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters, so you'll get the notification as soon as it starts. It's going to be probably one of the most epic Street Fighter tournaments in the history of Street Fighter, so definitely tune in for that.
And if you like breaking down videos in this way, come check out our own channel at youtube.com/UltraChenTV and twitch.tv/UltraChenTV. We talk about matches like this. We talk about news, things like that are going on in the fighting game community right now.
Yeah, and we definitely try our best also to cover very beginner tactics and expert tactics as well, just to kind of help people who are trying to learn the game, and then help people who are trying to really get into the tournament scene as well. So.
That's right.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you at Capcom Cup.